Assalamu alaikum guys, I hope you are all doing great. Today I will begin the part 2 of my Minecraft airport tour. We will begin from where we left off last time, that is from the top of this mobile tower. Now without any further delays, let's get straight into the airport tour. We will begin this tour by showing you the airport's main storage facility, otherwise you could say the storage complex. But first, let me show you some of the vehicles over here. That was a good flight. Here is a giant crane. This is primarily used for construction purposes. You can see it is currently helping in building a small building over here on the rooftop of the main storage facility. Here are some of the fans that are responsible for cooling the storage facility, and you can also see the helipads. The rooftop of the storage facility serves as the primary helipad facility of the airport. You can also see a bunch of helicopters flying. Now over here you will see a forklift, a very big forklift actually. You can see it is lifting a pile of red nether bricks. This crane is one of the much larger road vehicles that I have built. Here is a piece of the building waiting to be put together. Let's explore the interior of the main storage facility. So as you can see, it is lit up with glowstones. Here are some of the goods. These are normal goods, but for frozen goods a separate section has been built. I will be showing you that particular section in a few moments. Here is the frozen section of the main storage facility. You can see it has machines that are responsible for cooling this particular area, and you can also see some ice-packed cargo and goods. And look over here, you can also see a giant fish hanging from the ceiling. You could say it resembles a tuna, although I'm not exactly sure what fish this actually is. Comment down below to tell me which fish it is. Now let's get back to our airport tour. Now that we have explored the facility, main storage facility, we will now explore the main helipad facility. We'll take these stairs. Here is that building, and here are some of the helipads. You can see some helicopters flying, some parked. I will be showing you one of these helicopters within a few moments. Here is one of the helicopters. These are loosely based on the Bell UH-1 Huey helicopters. Here is the interior, and you can see it's actually quite small. Here is another one. This one is flying. You can see the rotating blades. Here is the Boeing 727 that I showed you in the previous video. This is a much closer view of the aircraft. I will be showing you the interior, but I will show you the interior in one of these aircrafts that are parked in the airport tarmac. Now let us head over here. Here is a very big helicopter. This one is particularly, you could say, loosely based on the Mi-26 and the Mi-17. You could say it is a hybrid between the two due to its configuration, structure and size. Here, this giant area, as you can see with all the roads, is an under construction seaport. You can also see a dry dock over here. I will be uploading videos about this build in the upcoming months. Let's get back to our airport tour. As for the giant helicopter that I showed you, I have a bunch of them here in the airport. I will show you the interior from there. Here are the orange variants of the helicopters. This building right here is the authority responsible for managing the helipad facility, or you could say it is the primary office responsible for managing the administrative works related to the helipad facility. Here is a much closer view of the giant fans that are helping to keep this storage facility cool and stable. Let's get over here and show you one of the Boeing 727s. This one particularly has a black tail. This plane is actually pretty big, though it might seem small. Now let's get over here and enter the aircraft. You can see from the inside it does have a pretty big interior. It's not that small. Here is a staircase that allows you to exit and enter the aircraft from the back. This is a very unique feature of the Boeing 727. I should also mention that Boeing 727s are primarily used for short-range flights. They are not equipped for use in transatlantic flights. Here is a small plane. I've showed you one of these previously, loosely based on the Cessna 152. This one is carrying a flag of Bangladesh. Let's get over here, up in the top, and you can see a fighter group escorting a tanker. These fighter jets are F-14 Tomcats. You can see most of these F-14s have their wings folded inward. However, the aircraft that is leading the pack has its wings folded outward. And if you take a up-close view, you can see that there are pilots in the aircraft. These also come with these missiles over here, as well as cameras, spy cameras, I might add. Here is a tanker aircraft loosely based on the Boeing 767 and 737. Here is one of the F-14s being refueled from the tanker using a fuel boom. Let me just change the time real quick. Okay, thank you very much. The thing is, when it's dark, it becomes hard to see most of the stuff, which is why I show you most of the stuff in the daytime. This is the main hangar facility of the airport. You can see a bus over here. Here is another forklift. This one is also carrying some goods. This is a giant crane. It is primarily responsible for aircraft maintenance as well as lifting heavy goods and cargo. This is actually one of the biggest cranes I have built. Let me show you how you can access these cranes. Get over these stairs. Take this small elevator I built with scaffoldings. Now if we head over to here, this small platform is responsible for controlling these cranes. The operator operates these cranes from these small platforms. You can see generators installed in the crane hooks. And here is another Boeing 727. This is a small airport touring car. It can be used to transfer airport personnel from one place to another. Here is that giant helicopter. based on the Mi-26 and Mi-17. You can see just how big it is, how many landing gears it has. Here is the interior. For a helicopter, this is actually very big. So there are actually much larger helicopters than this one. Here is another forklift. Here is another crane. This one is off duty. This small area over here is allocated for the workers and maintenance crew. You can see there are storage boxes over here, some chests lying around, a pot, teacups, flower pots, packed cargo, and some metal cubes. Also, I have built the entire rooftop of this hangar with white glass. This allows for light to fall into the hangar when it's very dark. Essentially, it helps with the lighting environment. Over here is the main goods area of the airport, cargo area of the airport. Here is an MD-11F, the tri-engine goods aircraft, freighter aircraft. You can see goods are being unloaded from the aircraft using this vehicle. If we take a look over here, some of the goods are still packed. Here's the cockpit. If you go take a look over here, you can see the back space is empty. Most of the cargo has been unloaded. These are the back doors. Now let's exit the aircraft. Oh, I forgot. There are stairs up ahead. I could have just used these stairs. Much easier to enter and exit the aircraft. Now over here you can see some of the previous ground vehicles that I showed you in my previous video. There is an addition that I want to show you. Here is the tug. This vehicle right over here is primarily responsible for pulling and pushing the aircraft. It does so using this small white vehicle. It essentially creates a bridge between the aircraft and the tug. The tug is a very powerful truck indeed. Over here you can see some packed cargo, and this is a small fuel farm intended for small aircraft. You can see a helicopter being refueled, as well as a plane, small plane. You can climb these tankers. Here is a much better view of the aircraft, and here is a small cargo door at the back of the aircraft. Here is a giant fire engine, responsible for controlling disasters. This one has a great water capacity, water storing capacity. You can see the fire hoses, and yes, this is accessible. There are storage compartments as well. This is one of the largest trucks I have built over here. This right here is the airport fuel farm. It primarily stores jet fuel as well as other kinds of fuel. Here is a tanker, a semi-truck tanker. It is currently unloading fuel into one of these tankers. Okay, I should say tank, not tankers. Here is an airport fuel truck. It is currently taking some fuel from one of these tanks and filling its tank to refuel other aircraft. Let's get over to this area, and here is the main radar of the airport. This particular radar is only allowed to be used for civilian purposes. In other words, this one is only used for civilian control and administrative purposes. There is a separate military radar which I will show you later. Here is a control board. A small elevator that leads down from the radar. It is pretty easy to access as well as exit this place. This is a giant generator. It is used for this radar. Here are some airport utility vehicles. This is a small car, primarily used by the airport personnel. Here is a small tow truck. Here is another fire engine. This one is smaller than the red ones that I showed you over there. Here is the air traffic control tower. Let's get inside. It has this spiral staircase, which took me a while to build. This is the first floor of the ATC tower. You can get a pretty good view from here. But let's go to the second floor. This is where ATC personnel usually control their traffic from. Let's go to the rooftop, the first section of the rooftop. Here you can get a very nice view. Okay, let me change the daytime again. Okay, thank you. Here is the second section of the rooftop. This one doesn't give that much of a good view, particularly due to the equipment installed on the rooftop. Here is a passenger variant of the MD-11. This one is in an orange livery, unlike the cargo variant that I showed you previously with a blue livery. Here is the interior, and both aircraft are actually pretty much the same, except that one is intended for passenger transportation purposes and one is for goods and freight carrying purposes. Here is that helicopter, here is that plane, and here is the final plane of the day. This is a Lockheed C-5 Galaxy. This is the largest aircraft I have ever built and the largest aircraft in this airport. You can see just how massive this is, and also this airplane is built in a diagonal manner, unlike most of the planes which are built in a straight manner. You can see how gigantic this plane actually is. The main purpose of this aircraft is to transport heavy cargo. That's a heavy cargo such as nuclear reactors or even tanks and even troops. You can see the fuselage, it's really big. The interior is massive. This is a small hatch. There are multiple hatches like these on this aircraft for escaping in emergency purposes. If you take this ladder all the way over here, you can access the cockpit. You can get a pretty good view from up here. I meant to say up here, not up here. If you go all the way to the rear end of the aircraft, take this ladder. It's a bit dark in here, but that's fine. You'll get over it. Climb the ladder, and if you reach this section, then again climb through this particular section, and voila, you are now standing on the vertical stabilizer of the aircraft. I know it sounds crazy, but somehow you can use a ladder to get to the vertical stabilizer of this aircraft, which is pretty insane. You can get a really good view from up there. Oh god, I meant to say view, not view. You can see the livery of this aircraft is pretty simple, and that's pretty much it. This is the end of the part 2 of my Minecraft airport tour. I will see you all in the next video. Allah Hafiz and Assalamu Alaikum. Stay safe, guys.